Google VO3 is definitely the most advanced video generating artificial intelligence in the world. Right here on the channel, we've already shown several tests. People walking down the street, cars crashing, Formula One cars, people in space, even people vlogging in their daily lives. But we still haven't tested it with animations. Could Google VO3 replace Pixar, Disney, or Studio Ghibli? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. But first, leave a comment below. Do you already use any artificial intelligence to generate videos? Also, do you already use any artificial intelligence to make money, to monetize, or to improve your life? If so, write the name of the artificial intelligence and what you use it for. Okay? Let's go straight to my computer screen. I brought in an American animation specialist. At the end of the video, I'll leave the link to his channel in the description so you can subscribe, okay? So let's get right to it. 3, 2, 1, go.
I wanted to test it now to see how well it performs with stylized animation. So I'm going to test it with these 2D animation categories and also these 3D animation categories. And let's
take a look here. Look, we have styles here, okay? Both 2D and 3D. And check this out. Anime style, comic book style, which back in my day we called Ghibli, right? People over 40, right? Motion graphics cool. And for 3D, we have the most famous ones. Look, Disney, Pixar, Illumination, which is the studio behind the Minions, and also made the Mario Bros. Movie, which was amazing. And game style? How cool is that? Video game style? Well, let's get to it then.
Let's see how well it handles them. So I'm going to start by playing a parody trailer I made just to show some of the good results, and then we'll go ahead and analyze them individually. Adventure lives in your imagination. This is my moment. I was born to sing. I'm going to win this race at the speed of light. I know.
Well, this would be total plagiarism, right? From the movie Cars, from Disney, from Pixar, right? But it's incredible.
Wow. Sorry about that. Don't worry, buddy. I came all the way here because I had to believe.
Well, I already see a problem with with 2 copyrights there, right? Mickey and the Simpsons. But let's keep going, right?
It was completely accidental. Why? I'm not here to play around. I'm here to take them down. Hey, check the mic. 1, 2. This is not a zoo. Catch me if you can. You'll never catch me alive. I came here looking for answers. You know what, X? This view makes all our adventures worth it.
Wow, guys, and I also freaked out about that comic book over there, right, where he put Daredevil, so you can take a comic book and bring it to life like that, right? Bringing comics to life. Look how amazing that is. The only problem is that some companies, if you're just playing around and all, they'll even allow it. But if you start making money off of it, then the lawyers show up. So you have to create new things, right? Here, look.
Let's start first with the classic old-school hand-drawn animation, similar to what you'd see from Disney, Mickey Mouse, and some of those old cartoons. And here's the prompt I gave it. And let's see what it created. Wow, sorry about that. Haha, don't worry, buddy. To my surprise, this actually worked better than I expected. If you
look how cool that is. So that's Mickey parody and a Pluto parody, right?
If I look at the character designs, the fluidity of the animations, even the physics of the powder spilling there, and even the vocals it generated, it all matched the aesthetic of that era really well. And I think most importantly, we didn't have so many artifacts. So there aren't any transformations or weirdness happening with the characters.
What's the big difference for someone watching this video for the first time and getting to know Google VO3? It's that besides the video, it generates the dialogues and it generates all the sound effects. So when someone goes and rings the bell, for example, it will make the sound of the bell. If they're walking down the street, you hear the sound of them walking. Then you have the sound of cars, of traffic. Then if a car honks, it shows up, and you can put all of that in the prompt. And if suddenly you want to have a guy swearing in traffic, you just put it in quotes and specify that the man in the car will roll down the window and say something, and it will generate the dialogue and lip sync. In the past, you had to make the video in one AI, the dialogues in another AI, the lip sync in another AI, and the sound effects in yet another AI, and then use an editing program to put it all together. In other words, at least 5 different artificial intelligences that you now do with just one. Just look at the power of that. But let's keep going here.
With most of the AI video models I test, when it comes to 2D animations, they struggle with a lot of artifacts where the character's hands morph, or the mouth, or different parts of the character change shape. So, this is pretty impressive. Let's look at another example. No fish today. Maybe they're on vacation. And again, just like the first one, it did really well with this one. This one has some gibberish text. We'll talk about this text a bit later in the video, and there's a little bit of morphing if you look at the cat's mouth, but not much. I was quite impressed with this category. Let's check out the next category. For the next category, I wanted to test things like its sketch animations. So, if you think about Ed and Eddie, if you've ever watched Cartoon Network, that style of animation, and I gave a hint here, and this is what happened. This is the best trampoline ever invented. So, right away, I can already see a bit of that transformation. So, let's go back a bit. So,
it's really cool that it adds a little speech bubble, right? Like as if it were a comic strip. That's really cool. I can take a comic book at home, of course, make some adaptations so it doesn't end up as plagiarism, right? In fact, what can I do? I can take a comic, take a picture, and send it to Google Gemini or even ChatGPT and ask it to describe the page. And from there, I can make some adaptations, right? To create a new character, and then I take it to Google V3 to do the animation. It would be an animation that could go from text to video with the description, or I could use an image, right? Created with an image AI, which could also be Google's, using Imagen 4, which is the most advanced, or Imagen 3. Or I can generate the image right there, either within the code, the ChatGPT's chat, or in Sora itself, which also generates images, which is from OpenAI and is also integrated into the ChatGPT ecosystem. Let's continue here.
If you look at the character, it's not very solid. The mouth changes there, and part of the character changes as well. So this one isn't that good. The sound design works well, but not that well. Let's try one more example and see if it does better.
Wait, you actually did that?
What? It seemed like a good idea at the time, alright? Same thing here. We see a lot of transformations with this character. You can see the artifacting, so it looks like it's struggling with that. I'm not too surprised because there isn't much training data for this type of animation. That could be why, but I'm not sure. But it doesn't do very well with these sketch style animations. Let's move on to the next category. Alright, next, I wanted to try anime style animations. I really love this kind of animation. Let's see how well it can do.
Comment below if you like Saint Seiya, which is from my generation, but let's go, right? It's still around. It's not, the new works aren't as good as they used to be, but we'll get there, right? Oh, people who like Saint Seiya are fans who really suffer.
Today I'm going to give you a final lesson.
Let's see.
I gave him a detailed prompt. He was supposed to make quite a move with the sword. He didn't really stick to that prompt, so I don't think we can even test much for the morphing because again, these characters don't have that kind of movement. But overall, the aesthetics match. So let's take a look at another example. A prompt similar to the one I had in my previous video. Fire and ice. You'll melt before you even land the hit. Let's see. And once again, not that great. So I asked for a camera movement, for an arc movement. I couldn't pull that off with this. That kind of camera movement works well with live action videos, But again, it's not very good in anime style. Just for comparison, this is what I managed to get from an image to a video using a clean AI. This one is much better. So,
Yeah, in this case, just so you all understand, he used Kling and also used Sora, right? Yeah, they're competitors. Sora is from OpenAI, from ChatGPT, and Kling is a new one. There's also Hilumini Max, which is really good too.
live, these camera movements, but again, it's not very good in anime style. Just for comparison, this is what I managed to turn from an image into a video using the clean AI. This one is much better. So, it seems like it definitely still struggles with anime style categories to this day. Alright, let's try 2 more categories and then move on to 3D. I wanted to see how it handles animation in comic book style, because that's a very distinct animation style. And here's a prompt I gave, so let's see how it turns out. Justice prevails. So,
Oh, I'll just say it before he does it. Turned out really good.
the aesthetics are great. You can see the bold outlines, the overall look. The textures definitely feel like comic books, and it really stuck to the prompt for this one. The only problem I see, and I've run into this several times, I've tried different examples, is the lip sync. For some reason, in this comic book style, it's not possible to make the mouth move. As you can see, he's talking. But again, there is no mouth movement. Now, I tried a prompt where I kind of changed the character's appearance to look a bit more like a live-action human. And this is what it looks like. I'm not here to play around. I'm here to take them down. Right now, this finally fixed the lip sync issue. It managed to sync the lips. Other than that, the aesthetics here are really good. I really love the look. It's really nailing it with these, aside from the lip sync issue, gore. So now I hope it does really well in this category. This is your modern animation for the web. So, your vector style animations, flat 2D graphics. So, let's see how well it can do this. And that was a girl sitting on the roof.
And then she says, this is a perfect day to be outside. It's a perfect day to be outside. Very clean. The synchronization. I can see someone using this to make money with educational animations for school, for books, right? You can take a book that already exists today and make an animated version of it and sell it. Wow, you could make a lot of money with this.
The lip sync is also very clean. So there are absolutely no difficulties with this category. I tried a few more examples. You would get your best animations in this category. Finally, as we leave this 2D category, I wanted to test it with motion graphic style animations, like explainer videos. And let's look at an example here. Follow these simple steps for 20 seconds to effectively eliminate harmful bacteria. So, again, aside from the gibberish text, this is very decent with the sound effect. Even...
Wow, you could sell this. I have clients who are dentists, right? Who have dental clinics, also doctors, also physical therapists, people in the healthcare field, and even lawyers. So, you know, you can sell this. Let's take, say, a dental clinic, right? Dentists. Wow. Oral hygiene, for example, or post-operative care, maybe. Someone is getting braces and needs to know best practices and all that. In other words, we're still going to get to the 3D part here, but just in this first 2D stage, you can make a lot of money as long as you use the right artificial intelligences. And the hardest part, how do you see this as a business and learn to attract clients? The million-dollar question. Does Google VO3 actually generate high-quality 3D videos? Disney style, Pixar style, video game style? Let's check that out now, but first, leave a comment below. Would you like an artificial intelligence that creates Disney or Pixar style animated videos for you to monetize online? Leave a comment, I want to know. Now, let's go to the specialist. Remember, at the end of this video, I'll leave the link to his channel so you can subscribe. It's really worth it. Let's go.
Let's move on to the 3D categories. For the 3D categories, I wanted to test the work in these various studios and different types of aesthetics.
Let's take a look here. Disney, great. Pixar, which is owned by Disney, but it's a separate company. Illumination, which is behind the Minions, Despicable Me, and also made that amazing Mario Bros. Animation and game engineer, right? Then there's video games, PlayStation, Xbox, computer, Nintendo Switch, and so on. Let's go.
They have it. Starting again with Disney. So if you think about Disney, think about its princesses. Of course, there will be music. So I want to see how well they can handle music and singing. And here is the suggestion I gave for this first video. And let's listen to what it does. For me, this was incredibly impressive. I think this is the first time I've actually generated an AI animation that doesn't really look like AI. There's something about it, and I think it's three things because it's doing...
Well, the camera movement and the animation turned out amazing. Here on my computer, the music didn't come through very well, but I know that it's excellent.
Seeing the lip sync, the camera movement, and the animation all at the same time. It looks natural compared to what you would see in some of those studios. This is really, really, really impressive. If you look at the scene here, if you look at her dress when she turns, the physics of the dress, the way it moves, the way the camera moves and her lips move, it looks almost perfect. This is smooth. I really, really love this. Let's try one more. And... once again.
Now the music came out. Guys, you can create a Disney or Pixar animation right from your home using a prompt. Look at this. Because Google Veo 3 generates the video, it creates all the external sound effects, it generates the voice, it does the lip sync. Seriously, it's incredible.
It nailed it. I'm super impressed with the quality of these animations. Besides the singing, of course. The singing definitely sounds like AI, but everything else in this animation looks very, 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 very perfect. It's pretty fascinating, the times we live in today. Alright, now let's move on to a stylized 3D animation style that most people look for today when generating 3D AI characters, which is pixel style animation. And here, I'm looking for subtle differences, like I want to see textures that look a bit more realistic, sophisticated lighting, and shadows compared to what we would see in a Disney style animation. So we'll start with a simple prompt of a boy and an alien playing in the bracket. And this is how it looks.
Guys, just to show you a technical thing. Here he's using the text to video format, right? So he's writing a text and everything we're seeing is being generated from that. Now you can use image to video, which would be image to video. So you would create an image which could be in Google's image 4. It could be in Flux with the tests, which is the best one today. You can choose Midjourney, which is also, it's always there between first and second place. Or you can use ChatGPT itself, which is also very good. And then you can either just use the image to generate the video, or you can upload the image and also add some text commands, which would be the prompt, making a combination of image and text for the video, right? So that's something to note, and those are the possibilities. In this case here, he's using text to video.
We have a simple prompt of a boy and an alien playing on the mattress, and that's how it turns out. And for some reason, I can't get the voice to generate audio when I add the word pixel to the prompt, when there's a human character in it. I've tried more than a dozen different prompts. It just wouldn't generate audio when there was a human. I have no idea why that is. If anyone figures this out, please let me know in the comments. I'd like to see.
Yeah, you could put something similar, right? You could say slightly inspired by Pixar, maybe that'll work. Or what you can also do is ask Gemini or ChatGPT to describe what a Pixar style would be. Then it'll give you a brief description and you can put that in the prompt. That way you kind of get around the algorithm, right?
What am I doing wrong here? But besides that, if you look at the rendering almost immediately compared to what we had with Disney. So here's what we had with Disney and here's this pixel animation. You can immediately see that we have a much more detailed rendering. Notice the lighting on the alien, the way the sunlight comes in, the way the shadows reflect on its face. If you look at the apples, we can see the reflection on them. A bit of the shadows in the garden. You can even see the shadows being cast on the boy's clothes if you look at the details there. So this is perfect in terms of aesthetics. Really perfect. The animation as well, very fluid. So it definitely achieves this animation style very well. With Pixar, it's very common to see animations of inanimate objects. So I wanted to test that. Let's use the classic Cars movie as an example. I'm going to win this race fast as lightning, baby. In terms of sound design, the lip sync, the rendering is really good. If you look at these, you'll see the shadows, the way it was designed. It looks really, 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 really good. So
guys, I've already sold videos that were much less complex, you know? I created the avatar there, the character, and made a little package of images and videos for around 10 to, it depends, right? But it was from 10 to 20 there, and it was around $100. Now, this here is a short film. If you make a short film for a company, you can easily charge around $500, $1,000, even up to $2,000. Besides, I mainly use it here on my YouTube channels, right? There are 12 channels, 9 monetized, and in Portuguese, English, Spanish, and German. But I have a specific channel that's called Cinema AI, or rather AI Cinema sometimes. I get confused anyway. But look, if I open it up quickly here and type in AI Cinema, go ahead and subscribe. We're about to hit 30,000 subscribers. But look, I already make the animations here, okay? And here, some of them, right, like VO2 didn't even exist yet. Now there's VO3 and everything else. Man, just these videos here, 2.7 million, 1.3 million, a million views, and so on. On this channel, I make around it, depends on the month, but around $1,200 to $2,000, okay? Now, there are videos here that on their own already pay for the VO3 subscription with just one video. And VO3 is not cheap, right? There are plans around $20 and there are plans around $200 with a promotion for the first 3 months at $150. And for the $20 plan, it's free for 30 days, right? At least while I'm recording this video. In other words, you can make money selling to clients, but while you're not selling to clients, you can make money monetizing on YouTube. Of course, you need to put in the work to monetize your YouTube channel. Not to mention, you can also sell a course on how to create these videos. Look at how many possibilities there are, right? This is what I teach even to my mentees, you know?
I tried it with some animals, and here again I'm trying to see how detailed the animals' textures appear and how well they perform with lip sync. So here is a rabbit in the pack that says something about this. Carrot, you should last until dinner. So the texture details are quite impressive. The lip sync is also pretty impressive. We don't know how a rabbit talks, so I can't really judge that. It looks similar to what I would see in a pixel-style movie. Alright, now let's check out the animatic.
Before we start the illumination part here, guys, if you don't have the money to invest in a mentorship with me yet, what can you do right now? There's the channel membership here on the channel. At level 1, you'll get early access to videos, and I'll also respond to your comments ahead of time. Now at level 2, which is, in my opinion, one of the best in terms of cost benefit, what will you be able to do? In addition to exclusive videos, you can make a post in the channel's community Any subscriber can make a post in the channel's community, but if you're a level 2 member here, you can ask a question about business, about artificial intelligence, or about how to make money in a specific situation. And by being a level 2 member here in the channel club, in our channel club, I will respond to you with priority in a special way, all right? So go ahead, become a level 2 member, make your post, and I will answer you with priority, okay? Continuing here with the illumination part.
Sound in the style of Illumination Studios. I hope it's a high texture rendering, very similar to what we had with the pixel and lighting, and that's fine. But later I want to do more tests to check out a few more things. Let's use the movie sim as the basis for the test. So first I'll test with a simple dialogue with the animals. And the prompt here was a dog conducting an interview. Let's listen to a participant. This is my moment. I was born to sing, and I have to say that this scene here, I really loved it. Quite fantastic.
And look how cool, guys. Normally, artificial intelligences focus on the protagonist, which in this case would be the two here, right? The dog and the hippopotamus. And in the background, it kind of messes around, distorts things. It doesn't prioritize what we call here the NPCs, right? The supporting characters. But VO3, like, impressively takes the whole context into account. So the characters in the background have really good animation. There are other AIs that distort things and say, like, they blurred the background to cover up the hallucination, to hide that the character got distorted, but not here. You can tell that the animation is really good, really well done. Let's watch it again here.
This is my moment. I was born to sing, and I have to say that this scene here, I really loved it a lot. Fantastic. I think it's something about the way the camera moves and the animal talks at the same time that makes it feel very realistic. This scene had some artifacts at the beginning. Other than that, it's pretty solid. Now, let's try playing an instrument. The rendering of the rat looks really good, but it seems to have a bit of trouble understanding how an instrument is played, the physics correctly. And then, finally, let's try singing. Oh my god, there's something about the way it's doing this. It looks very natural. Nothing about it feels AI generated.
It turned out really good. It's just that when you're recording, I don't know why, it gets a bit distorted, but here the trunk is in front, right? So you can't even tell if it's lip synced, right?
For example, I generated a similar image and used one of the best lip syncing tools out there, Dreamna, to sing the same song. So, if you look at these, there's a way it just stays still and static. And all of this seems, in comparison to what we have in V3, it looks like something you would watch in a movie and wouldn't think twice that it was generated by AI. I want to see how far I can go using copyrighted content. So this time I asked it to generate something that looked like the Minions.
Well, this is just a test, right, guys? But you're not going to make money with other people's copyrighted material, right? So here it's just as a test, but I advise you to like use it as inspiration, you know, and not specifically use this here, because otherwise, honestly, before you know it, you'll have lawyers knocking at your door.
And this looks a lot like the Minions. It definitely doesn't seem to want to restrict that. And I tried another one with Gru and Lucy from the same movie. So I got some resistance, but I tweaked the prompt a bit and just described what Gru was like. I mentioned Despicable Me, and then it generated this. I know it looks bad, but I assure you it was completely accidental.
Wow. It looks like Despicable Me, the last movie, right? Where they're in that little town, kind of fake. inside a house there Gru's on the run, right?
Again, if you look at this, you can definitely tell I'm trying to recreate that over-the-top character, but it turned out really well. Finally, to wrap up, I just want to quickly check how it does with CG rendering, maybe like a game engine, Unreal Engine rendering. I hope it does really well, but it has a simple prompt. So let's see what happens. I came here looking for answers. And what did you find? Yeah, exactly as I expected. This one is perfect. Very, very accurate. The aesthetics of this look really great. I didn't expect it to have much trouble with this. So, in all of it...
Well, basically that's a gameplay style, right? It's a video game, but when you're about to play, if you want, you can make it much more realistic there, right? So it's a game cutscene, and then it transitions straight into gameplay without like cutting to something that's more polished and then switching to gameplay. Nowadays, you can make really good graphics like this one here. And when you start playing, there's no abrupt transition, so to speak. I thought these tests were wonderful. I found them amazing. I'll leave the link to his channel for you to follow because there are a lot of incredible videos. It's wonderful. I recommend it. And leave your comment. Don't forget. Did you like it? Do you think VO3 did well in most cases? Which one did you like the most? Comment down below. I want to know. And if you want to see VO3's results now for movies, for short films, for something more realistic, more everyday stuff, I'll leave this video here for you to keep watching with me, okay? I'll see you in the next video. See you soon.